Right, so for today's video, we are talking about a situation that has well and truly blew up over the past few days, and it's all coming from this account right here called Folk Medicine and Remedies. And I mean, we can see the original video of this situation is currently on 16 million views in just a couple of days. Now, another person you need to be aware of is That's So Stasia. This is a person who Folk Medicine Remedies is talking about in her video, or one of the people. There are other people included, but Stasia is actually one who has replied in a video, as we'll see later. So let's start with the original video from Folk Medicine Remedies. I'm probably just going to say, like, folk medicine or something like that throughout the video, but you'll know who I'm talking about. So she starts off by explaining that she was invited to this 4th of July party. I guess it's important to know here that the people that actually invited her weren't the homeowners, as we'll see that's kind of like a big part of this situation. She was invited by her son's friend's mum, who also claims that she had told the homeowners and they were very much aware that folk medicine was turning up, also knew that she was going to be bringing like a salad and whatnot, but as we'll see, there's a bit of a disagreement as to whether the homeowners knew that folk medicine was turning up, and that kind of becomes the big situation here.
So I was invited to a 4th of July party the other day by my son's best friend's mother, and I thought it was possibly like a family party or just like a neighborhood party or something, because it's like a road in the woods kind of thing where they're at the end, and then her mother and her uncle and then like a couple other houses, but I don't know anybody. I'm new to this area. I just moved 1,000 miles away to be here.
And seemingly everything started okay, right? Folk medicine's talking about how she made this salad for everybody, she was really thankful to get an invite, but then things started to go wrong.
So I made an antipasto salad, like this big gorgeous salad, and I asked, is there anything you want me to bring? Thank you so much. I was so gracious. I kept reiterating that. Thank you so much for like inviting me. I don't know anybody here, like and I get there and the kids get out and I grab the antipasto and I brought one beer with me because I was only going to drink one beer.
Now, seemingly straight away, the homeowners aren't happy, and in fact, it gets to the point where they actually confront folk medicine.
So I walk into the house with my son's friend's mom, and I'm carrying the salad and I have my beer, and I just wanted to put the salad down and chat and introduce myself to everybody. And I guess the homeowner's name is Stasia, and her husband, I don't even know who he was. He walked by me kind of angry and like ignored me, but I was like trying to introduce myself to everybody. And her uncle, my son's friend's mom's uncle and mother were there, and they were the ones doing the fireworks, and they had like 500 rounds, and I'm just chatting, not even 5 minutes in the door, and somebody walks in the house and is like, are you going to introduce yourself to somebody? Like, it's really rude to walk into somebody's house and not introduce yourself. He's absolutely flipping out outside about some stranger. And I was like so confused. I looked like a deer caught in headlights because I thought I was invited. And even the mother that like invited me, she was like, what in the world? Like, I mentioned that she was coming. Like, okay.
So of course at this point, folk medicine is confused. She goes outside to introduce herself, but it doesn't seem like the situation has got any better.
And I was like, I'm really sorry. I don't even know whose house this is. And the girl goes, exactly. You shouldn't be in here. And I was like, okay. So I walk outside, and when I get out on the porch, the girl Stasia I introduced myself to, it wouldn't even look at me. She turned herself looking away on the porch, and there's all these people just angrily looking at me and like nasty, and one guy was like, welcome to the neighborhood, see you later. And I was like, okay. So I just dumped my beer out, and I was just like, I was totally distraught, and like I've never been treated like that. Like, I left the salad for them. It was like probably a $40 salad. I used all the really nice Italian cut meats and like all the vegetables from my yard. I just wanted to make a good impression. And like, this is why you don't make friends in your 30s, because like, people are so nasty.
And yeah, you can see she's clearly upset, also very confused as to why this situation has even played out the way it has. The mother who actually invited her also feels bad and is very confused as to what is happening here.
The mother felt so bad. She was like, please, she's like, just follow me down to the driveway. And like, I took her kid with me because the kid wanted to come with me and was like, I'm not staying here. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I couldn't stop apologizing. And her mother, the kid's grandmother, came with her down, and they were like, just follow us down to the house. They gave me a whole garbage bag full of freaking fireworks, and we're like, I'm so sorry. I can't believe you were treated like that. Like, I told them I was like just a deer caught in a headlight. I didn't even know how to react.
And like I mentioned earlier, this video ended up blowing up. It's currently on about 60 million views, and people obviously felt really bad for it. Now, at this point, I'm not really sure how this happened, right? There is a name mentioned, Stasia, but there wasn't too much information given, but I guess people found out who she was talking about. To be fair, I'm not 100% sure on the timeline if people found out before Stasia posted the video, or if it was Stasia posting the video that people kind of put two and two together and realised who she was talking about. But either way, at some point in the timeline, Stasia responds.
I am not a mean person. My husband is not a mean person. We are not mean people. Neither is my mother-in-law. We simply did not know who this person was that come into our house unannounced to not a party. Let's clarify. This was not a party. This was a get-together of people who knew each other, okay? And just because we didn't know her doesn't mean that she couldn't have stayed and hung out. We just didn't want her in our house.
And it's also worth mentioning here that this video has actually been deleted. I don't think it was up very long, so it's been re-uploaded by a user called Asian Boy. And he's actually put a caption on his video saying, only leaves the video up for 10 minutes and I recorded it before she deleted. So according to him, this video was literally up for 10 minutes. As we just heard, Stasia's basically saying, like, they're not being mean, they just didn't know who she was. She says just because they didn't know who she was doesn't mean she couldn't have stayed and hung out. They just didn't want her in the house, which is a bit confusing, right? Because I would assume you would need to go through the house to get to the backyard, which is where I guess they were. Obviously, we don't know exactly what's happened here. We're just hearing each side of the story, but Stasia does go on further to kind of like respond to the comments, I guess. She says that people have been bullying them.
So to you people that are getting on TikTok and all my social medias, first of all, or my husband's or my mother-in-law's, so forth, so on, and trying to bully us, I don't care. I really don't. Because you don't know the story, you weren't here, and for you to feel like you have to be behind the phone to bully somebody else that you don't even know about, that says a lot about you, not me. And one more thing. We did apologize. My husband did call her directly and apologize to her, and she didn't want to accept that answer, okay? She didn't want to accept that we were sorry, that we hurt her feelings. She wanted to get on TikTok and use it to her advantage and try to make us look like bad people, and then have half the world or so forth, so on, hate us too, to get into the rewards program. Seriously?
Okay, so that was Stasia's response. Now, as we just heard, she says that her husband rang to apologise. I believe we have the phone call she's referring to here. We do have a phone call that has been uploaded by Folk Medicine Remedies, where it is Stasia's husband kind of like calling. I don't know if this was the initial phone call or if there had been multiple, but like I said, we do actually have the phone call here. In fact, before we get to that, I think it's actually worth showing a different phone call that has been uploaded by Folk Medicine Remedies, and the phone call is with, I believe, the mother who invited her. So her son's friend's mother, who knew the homeowners, I guess, and invited Folk Medicine Remedies. Now, the reason why this phone call is important is because we hear her say that the homeowners, Stasia and her husband, were aware that Folk Medicine Remedies was turning up.
Exactly, and I even told them before you showed up. I showed Stasia the food you were bringing, so they knew that my kid and my kid's parents, or my kid's friends' parents were coming. And then, because me and Mom, we talked a lot about this last night, and I was like, you know, I understand that I should have said something. It wasn't my house. I should have introduced them. But I am so, I don't know the word, like, such an antisocial person that when I get around people, I don't know how I'm supposed to do things the correct way, you know?
Now, Folk Medicine Remedies actually goes on to say that now she knows that Stasia and her husband were aware that she was turning up, it makes the situation even worse in her eyes.
Now that I have confirmation that they physically knew I was coming, they even saw the salad that I made before I came, that's even more grounds for this to be unacceptable.
So now that I think we've mentioned a lot of the context of the situation, let's actually take a listen to the phone call between Stasia's husband and Folk Medicine Remedies.
The only reason I come into the house is because I didn't know who you was, and I feel like it would have been the same at your house. Like, you don't want to leave your house for somebody you don't know.
Let me interject for a second. It wouldn't have been that way. I don't treat people like that, and the way I was treated was completely irreparable. I'm sorry, but there is no excuse for the way that you spoke, or not you spoke to me, but the whole entire situation went down. I would never do that.
We just wanted you to come outside
So
I mean,
why didn't you just say that, or why didn't you introduce yourself? You were literally in the kitchen. I didn't know whose house I was at. I was just coming to a party I was invited to with 2 small children.
Now at this point it becomes clear that they were aware that Folk Medicine Remedies was coming, but he says that he just thought she was going to drop the kids off and that was it.
I didn't know that. Nobody told me nothing about it.
But that's not true, because I just spoke to Samantha and she just told me that you guys were 100% aware that I was coming.
Who said you were coming to drop the kids off?
Now at this point Folk Medicine Remedies says that she doesn't think anyone should be like attacking them for this, you know, like people who have seen the video. And then the conversation goes on further where Folk Medicine Remedy's husband actually like interjects in the conversation and says like his opinions.
Do I think that people should be attacking you? Absolutely not. I did not send anybody your way. I didn't even know your name until this morning when people found you. So, I mean, you can sit here and tell me that you can turn it around on me and act like I did something wrong, but I didn't.
Yeah, so one thing I do want to say here is because obviously when we were listening to Stasia's video, she said like, oh, my husband rang to apologise, but instead she just wanted to post this video, you know? But obviously listening to this phone call, again, I don't know if this was the first phone call that happened, but listening to this phone call, this was clearly after the video was posted, when we hear like what they're actually talking about here, you know, like I don't want people to attack you, people found you, I didn't even know who you were until people like found out. So this phone call in particular is definitely after the video was posted. Again, I don't know if there was a phone call before the video was posted.
Nobody. I just called to say I'm sorry you got that the wrong way. Nobody wanted y'all to leave. I mean, we knew the kids.
Whoa. I'm going to time you out there right now, Bob, because I'm going to say this. I'm Chris, by the way, and I'm going to say this right now. The way your mother came at my wife hot like that, just being a wretched human being, that's unacceptable. That is not very Christian-like behavior. And I'm going to tell you right now that no matter where I've ever been in my life, in every state that I've lived in, nobody treats anybody like that. That's unacceptable. It's just trash behavior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Like I said, I'm sorry that you took that the wrong way.
Yeah.
There was no
Thank
other way
you.
to take it.
There really was no other way to take it, and I hope you enjoyed your salad, and it was very unpleasant to meet you guys.
Yeah, again, we don't know obviously all the details here, right? But obviously listening to the storytime video, you know, the original video, and hearing that she kind of went outside and then all of a sudden is greeted by people saying, oh, welcome to the neighborhood, see ya, stuff like that. I don't know how else you're supposed to take that, right? Because we're hearing Stasia's husband saying, I'm sorry you took it the wrong way. If that is actually how the conversation went, yeah, I mean, how else would you be able to take that? But obviously we don't know for 100% fact, like, what actually happened here. But with the information that we do have, obviously hearing both sides of the story, let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. What do you think has happened here? Who do you think's in the wrong? Who do you think's in the right? Just all your opinions. Yeah, let me know in the comment section down below. Looking at the comments on all of these videos, people are very clearly, I'd say like 99% of the comments I've seen on Folk Medicine Remedy side. I'm not sure if there's going to be any further updates. There might be. Like, this is all very recent. This last video we just took a look at was posted less than a day ago. And yeah, if you did enjoy the video, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you are new. Also, if you're interested in some other content, me and Emily have a channel where we play games, react to reality shows, stuff like that. That's always linked in the description. Also, if you have some money to spare and you want to donate to a great cause, there's going to be a link down below to a charity football game that we are hosting next week at this point, where we're raising money for Encephalitis International. All the money raised is going to be going to that non-profit. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I guess until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.